I'm John Branch IV. I'm a wedding photographer and YouTube content creator. I've been doing weddings for 8 years now, and I've totally changed my style over the years. It took me about 5 years to really hone in where I wanted to, but it was really in the colors and also my highlights that I really found what I like about my editing style. My Imagen profile is natural feels. I named it this because I want all my photos to look very natural to the eye. With my edit, it's pretty much made up for any time of day, which is what I love about it. Especially as a wedding photographer, it's nice that I can use it on each section of the day. Since my business is kind of twofold between wedding photography and also YouTube content, with Imagen, I have a lot more time to dedicate to the YouTube content because I'm not spending so much time editing. Generally, when I'm editing, I always start with my white balance. Between that, desaturation some, and then also working in the HSL section, those are my main places that I'm always going to be looking at. Whenever I'm white balancing a photo, I'm always focusing on the skin tones first and foremost. I tend to lean a little bit on the cooler side, but as long as the skin tones look fairly natural, that is the biggest thing that I'm concentrating on. I generally don't use the color grading module, mainly just because it reminds me too much of color grading for video, and as a photographer, it's hard to look at that. My highlights and shadows are probably the main part that I always work on. I love to save my highlights, and I can still get a nice, beautiful white look to my photos even though the highlights are turned down. I usually am working with that with my exposure. The exposure is what helps everything still look bright even though my highlights are down. And for my shadows, I like to pull them up just a little bit so that they're a nice, kind of desaturated shadow. This works out well, especially for wedding photography, because if anything's backlit or there's windows behind my subject, it saves the outside just a bit, but I still get a nice bright photo. Now, I do change some of my colors, like my greens especially. I like those desaturated, but basically I want a blanket kind of flat photo. Because of this, the yellows tend to be very desaturated and all the blues are nice and pastel. Film photography has always been a big love of mine, so adding in some grain to an edit as well gives you that nice film feel to your photos, which I absolutely love.